It's-a me, Mario.
That is my line.
What? Where did you get that? Where's mine?
You mean you don't have one?
No, why would I have a Mario hat?
The real question is, why don't you have one?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know. I was handed this like 5 seconds ago by the great god Tyler, the Lord Protector of all 9 hat realms and the defender of the sacred headwear.
Isn't he dead?
Clearly, Noah. How can he be the protector of all 9 hat realms if he's here with us? We are not in the hat realm. No, we are in the spaghetti realm. I'm marinating in my own ragu.
Hello and welcome back to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Noah Bullard.
No, you're not.
What?
I dub thee Luigi.
Does that mean you're not Abby Perry anymore?
No, I am Mario. Mario.
And I'm Luigi Mario.
And this is no longer Real Deal. This is the Mario Bros. Show.
So what do we talk about on the Mario Bros. Show?
Cage the Elephants and new music.
Works for me. And Parker is here to talk about music for the first time. Parker?
Ask me who my top 3 artists are, and without a beat, I will list off Cake, Kaiser Chiefs, and Cage the Elephant. You can just imagine how giddy I was in the later months of 2018 when Kaiser Chiefs announced a new album, Cake released their first song in over 8 years, and Cage the Elephant did nothing. But I've been holding my breath in anticipation since then. Until I realized that I was not just 1, not 2, but 3 months late to their new single, Ready to Let Go. Thankfully, I was right on time when their newest song, House of Glass, went live just over 2 weeks ago. Both these singles are a part of their LP, Social Cues, which is their first work since their latest Grammy-winning album, Tell Me I'm Pretty. To give some context, I really admired Tell Me I'm Pretty. It was slower, smoother, and all around a nice deviation from their usual style of literally screaming into your ears. Not to say that their previous work was bad, just different. Especially different from the new style that they seem to aim with for Tell Me I'm Pretty. So are these new songs from Social Cues following suit, or maybe their best work ever? First, Ready to Let Go isn't bad, just the same. Throw it in a mixed bag with their previous work, and a non-diehard fan would never be able to pick it out and say, that's it, that's the new one. Ready to Let Go just feels like they're going back to their old roots of heavily distorted alternative rock. Lines like, sun went down over Pompeii, on both sides, the vow was broken, and one day all our secrets will be spoken doesn't really fit in well with the rest of the song, especially since it's the first verse in their new work. It's not really putting their best foot forward with their new album. Throw in their newest song, House of Glass, which overall feels like a half-baked attempt at whispering angrily behind your shoulder. The song contains nothing we've never heard of before from other artists, themselves included. The only real substance here is a really great guitar riff during the instrumental break at the end of the song, used for only 15 seconds max. Where was that style the entire song? I want more of that. I had to rewind through the entire song just to double check I wasn't missing it, but no. Why would you tease us like that? That's the kind of sound that works perfectly with Cage the Elephant, but it's tragically underused. So right up until writing this review, I thought they were just losing their vibe, until I went a little deeper into the backstory for this upcoming album. Turns out it's inspired on frontrunner Matt Schultz's recent trip to Pompeii with his wife, where he quickly realized that his marriage was heading towards a divorce. Sprinkle in the monotony of the rock star life, and I believe his dissatisfaction with life and the isolation of always being on stage and in front of the camera. The two singles combined are no longer just bleh, but pretty good and also really depressing. After looking at them in that light, I adore these new singles. Cage the Elephant really hit the nail on the head with the theme and style that they're aiming for, even if it takes some getting used to. With what seems like their new album focusing on more emotional themes, along with announcements like collaborating with Beck later on, my excitement for Cage the Elephant's new album has been rekindled. Now I can't wait to hear more from their new sound of taking the same old but spicing it with different styles here and now again. Releasing April 19th, I'll definitely be the first to listen to their new album, Social Cues. See you later. I'm Parker Carlson.
Thanks, Parker, for keeping the Rob legacy alive.
Let's talk about us, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Us? No, we aren't friends. Remember? We're the brothers. The Mario Brothers.
Harsh. I was talking about Us, the movie.
The one directed by Jordan Peele?
No, the one directed by Banana Peel.
Really? What's it about?
Us, our friendship.
You mean lack thereof?
No, frankly, I'm upset and hurt again. All I ever do is be kind to you, and you just shut me down.
Shelby, quick, before the tears start to flow.
Hey guys, I'm very excited for this week's episode because I get to talk about a movie whose trailer I reviewed in an earlier episode. That's right, I am reviewing Jordan Peele's highly anticipated horror film, Us. In case you live under a rock, the movie is about Adelaide Wilson, played by Lupita Nyong'o, who returns to her childhood beachfront home with her husband and 2 children. Soon into their trip, the family is terrorized by another family of 4 who take on each of their appearances. Pretty wild, right? A great part of this movie is the plot. One of the biggest complaints I usually have about your typical horror movies are there are no real reason why the horror is happening. It is just by random chance, so there's no intricate thinking that needs to go along with it. You don't need to connect the dots because it is all laid out for you, and honestly, that's no fun. I don't know about you, but I like to be entertained and challenged by the movies I watch. Us is not a disappointment in that respect. There is a reason why Adelaide Wilson and her family are being terrorized, and it plays with your mind right up until the very end. Another great part of the film's plot are all the twists and turns that I did not expect, but made sense in the end when I was able to connect all the dots. I won't give anything away, but what happens in the movie is larger than Adelaide's family, and this twist really speaks overall to what the movie is saying. The end is also a turn that I did not expect, but it was satisfying because there were clues throughout the entire film. So it did not just come out of nowhere. Something that should have not have been such a surprise as it was for me was the film was more of a psychological thriller than a horror movie. It should not have been surprising because Peele's Get Out was more psychological as well. Now don't get me wrong, there were definitely some jump scares, terrifying moments, and even some gore, but at its heart, the movie does a number to your mind. The only real problem I have with the movie is in regards to the plot is that it took a little while to get started, but that also allowed background on the characters that was important to the overarching story. It's really about what you appreciate and prioritize in a movie. Another great part of this movie is the cinematography. All the cinematography was great, but what I really liked with this aspect of the film was that a lot of the shots that had extended screen time were symbolistic and important to the movie as a whole. For example, the movie opens with a shot of a wall with cages that filled every square inch of said wall, and each of those cages was a rabbit. Another example is a shot of a bunch of people holding hands across a beach that seems never ending. Now, I won't go through my theories on what these symbols mean for the fear of ruining the movie and rambling on for hours, but they were beautiful and thought-provoking shots that added to the film in a way that might end up unappreciated in the grand scheme of the movie. You might think I have nothing bad to say about this movie, and you're right. The next thing I'm going to talk about, editing, was also superb. I really want to describe the scene that I'm talking about in particular, but is so central to the movie that I won't. All I'm going to say is that the editing of the movie is very important to the plot of the story. The family that terrorizes Adelaide's family are referred to sometimes in the movie as their shadows. The shadows in the movie are connected to their counterparts through the editing, and it creates a lot of terrifying yet cinematically beautiful sequences and moments throughout the entire film. I honestly wish I could see this movie all over again for the first time. That's how much I enjoyed it. Please go see it. It deserves all the recognition it's already gotten so far, so add flames to that fire. As you can probably guess, I am giving this movie a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm Shelby Deal, and thank you for letting me talk about movies.
Thanks, Shelby, for sharing a tale that should have been about us.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
Yeah.
No witty remarks?
Nope.
I think Abby's a little under the weather, so we're gonna cut
Nope.
Okay, we'll just stay here then, in silence.
Great.
Let's see what movies come out this weekend.
Cool.
Welcome, baby Dumbo. We're all family here, no matter how small.
Let's move.
In Mumbai, with multiple bombings and armed gunmen rampaging through the city.
Let them in! Look, I don't think you want to.
I like to have fun, man.
Moondogs from another dimension.
Moondog? You look like shit.
I look like I always look.
What is wrong with you?
I'm fine.
You good now, Mario?
I am no longer Mario. I am now Wario.
So that means I am Waluigi.
You know what that means, Waluigi?
Wah!
That's right. Andre is here with this week's Hollywood headlines. Andre?
Wah!
Thank you, Abby. Up first on this week's Hollywood headlines is Apple. The tech giant has officially announced its highly anticipated streaming service, Apple TV Plus, this week. According to Apple, Apple TV Plus will offer original series, stream over in 100 countries, and be available over the Apple TV app. The streaming service is set to program shows with big talents such as Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell, and Jason Momoa, J.J. Abrams, and also Oprah Winfrey, who plans on leading 2 documentaries for Apple TV Plus, as well as a new book club that will be live streamed on Apple devices. The price of Apple TV Plus has not yet been announced, and Apple TV Plus will be in a competitive market with already established Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, as well as upcoming streaming services like AT&T's Warner Media and Disney Plus, both of which are coming out later this year. While the streaming services boom, network television has been gradually shrinking. Late last week, it has become apparent that around 4,000 people working for Fox will be laid off due to the Disney and Fox merger. From this merger, the Fox 2000 label will shut down once all its films under production close. Speaking of Fox, Fox ranked 3rd in ratings this week, right after ABC in 2nd and CBS in 1st, partially due to March Madness. After the Duke game last weekend, CBS had 1.6 out of 7 rating on the 18 to 49 demographic, with an average of 9.3 million viewers on shows like 60 Minutes, God Friended Me, and NCIS Los Angeles. On the other hand, with movies last weekend, Jordan Peele's Us enjoyed an uncontested opening box office weekend by breaking the horror film opening box office record with 70 million and 86.9 million worldwide, on a $20 million budget. The record was previously set by A Quiet Place last year at 50 million, and Jordan Peele's Us more than doubled Get Out's opening weekend at 33.3 million. Captain Marvel movie has also made steps forward as its total grossing has passed Thor Ragnarok, Wonder Woman, and Batman v Superman. In the indie scene, the film Hotel Mumbai, starring Dev Patel, grossed $86,000 and setting the best per-screen average out of any release last weekend. In other movie news, Alfonso Cuarón, Kenya Barris, Tina Fey, and 750 others signed a letter backing the Writers Guild of America in its fight against the Association of Talent Agencies over packaging fees and conflicts of interest. The WGA will vote on March 27 to authorize a code of conduct on agencies to remove all packaging fees from their deals with writers. Otherwise, the WGA will have its writers leave any agencies that don't comply. This has been Andre Guima with this week's Hollywood Headlines. Back to you, Abby.
Thanks, Andre, for that amazing segment.
Wah!
You need to stop doing that.
It's my character. Wah!
I don't get paid enough for this.
Wait. You get paid?
Oh, time for Anastasia. Take it away.
Wah.
BoJack Horseman, Stranger Things, Orange is the New Black, and Queer Eye are just a few of the massive hits that Netflix has graced us with. Each have caught the world by storm. Well, on February 15th, we got a whole new story and cast of characters to fall in love with the show Umbrella Academy. If you've been living under a rock and/or not been on Twitter in the last month or so, here's a basic rundown. The show was based off a graphic novel by Gabriel Ba and Gerard Way, and yes, the Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. It follows an estranged family of ex-superheroes who, only after the death of their father, brings them back together. Then one of their brothers, who's been missing for the last 17 years, returns looking the exact same as he did when he disappeared, and claims the apocalypse is going to happen in 8 days. And that's just the bare bones of it. It kind of sounds like your basic superhero story, really. I know, except for the fact it's not really at all. A lot of comic book movies fall into the narrative of we're taking everything very, very seriously, which is fine. However, it's a refreshing take when we get a little something different, especially with the age of Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Extended Universe flooding our media with all their stories. Just to give you a taste of what a trip this show is, there's a talking chimpanzee, a robot mom, time-traveling assassins who for some reason wear goofy masks, random scene where everyone dances to I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany, and that's just scratching the surface. Not to say there aren't heartbreaking moments to the show, such as addiction, torture, and abandonment, to name a few. However, the show manages to balance these two vastly different tones expertly, never making it feel disjointed or off-kilter. I honestly could talk about this show all day long and still have things to say about it. I will, however, give it a 4 out of 5, which means you should go and watch it right now. My name is Anastasia Scott, and I will see you next time.
Thanks, Anastasia.
And goodbye, Waluigi. I'm taking a new identity.
And what might that be?
You'll see after the break.
That's right, shameless plug time. Check out Rental Breakdown, where they watch The Son of Aladdin, then watch our live show 8-Bit on Tuesday.
It's-a me, Mario.
What the hell is your problem? Really taking my bit?
I'm making it better.
I feel personally attacked.
Your Mario impression was garbage, almost comparable to dirt.
What, like the movie?
No, I'm insulting you. There's a movie called Dirt?
Yeah, I thought we were doing like a transition or something. Matthew's giving his review.
Oh, not bad. Matthew, take it away.
As the only person here at The Real Deal who hasn't seen Us yet, I had to find another way to entertain myself over the weekend. So on a whim, I decided to watch the new Netflix film, The Dirt. Based on the memoir of the same name, it chronicles iconic metal band Motley Crue's rise to fame and the many notorious antics they get into along the way. These shenanigans have become legendary in the world of rock and roll, and have come to define the crazy wild lifestyles of sex, drugs, and booze that many musicians embodied in the 80s and 90s. So it's very disappointing to say that The Dirt plays it totally safe. Now, even though the film is pretty vulgar and shows many of these incredibly reckless acts, it still feels sanitized in a been there, done that sort of way. It succumbs to the cliches that populate many music biopics. Most of that is due to the script, which attempts to cram in as many of these events as possible, causing the songs and the musicianship to take a back seat and forgets to portray the band members in an interesting way. The actors and their god-awful wigs, all do decent work with what they're given, but there's a certain edge missing from all of their performances. They never truly feel like genuine rock stars. And again, that's not really the fault of the actors, because they're all painted so one-dimensionally that when you don't really care when their actions start to catching up with them. Moments of personal tragedy don't carry the weight that they should, because the film doesn't give you a reason to make you care about any of them. In fact, a lot of these moments of potential character development either happen off-screen or are rushed along to squeeze in more party scenes. And aside from the script and performances, the filmmaking here on display is bland and lacks any visual flair. The concert scenes are all shot generically, and the lighting is dull and uninspired, which surprised me the most considering it's the same cinematographer who did the visually striking Get Out. Now, honestly, I don't know what I expected from this film. The trailers didn't do much to sell it as anything deeper than some trashy fun. If you're a fan of the band, I'm sure you'll like this, but personally, it didn't do anything for me. I'm gonna give The Dirt a 2 out of 5. Thanks for watching. I'm Matthew Simmons, and this has just been my opinion.
Thanks, Matthew, for that.
What?
That.
The review?
Obviously.
Not again.
Not what?
Why the short responses?
I don't know.
Oh, no, no.
Ah!
That's right. Mackenzie is here to talk about music festivals.
Wow!
Couldn't have said it better myself. Care to give us the rundown, Mackenzie?
All right, y'all. Last week, Lollapalooza dropped their 2019 lineup, which means all the summer festival lineups are officially out. If you didn't have time to check them all out and cross-reference yourself, don't worry, that's where I come in. Bonnaroo Arts and Music Festival has had their set list up for quite some time now, so I won't dwell on it too much. And after they featured artists like Eminem, Khalid, and Billie Eilish last year, I don't think they could possibly top that. That was at least until their headliners this year included Childish Gambino, Cardi B, and Casey Musgraves. Now, a few of these artists are going to be repeated, so just stick with me here. But I would like to take a second to thank the world for finally giving Casey Musgraves the love and respect she's deserved since her first album in 2013. If y'all have only heard her newest album, please do both me and you a favor and go listen to the entirety of Same Trailer, Different Park. You can thank me later. Anywho, back to Bonnaroo. Some of the other artists featured are Odessa, Hozier, Fish, Maren Morris, and Lil Dicky. Next, for the people who need less variety in your festival lineup life, is Electric Forest. The all-EDM set is headlined by Odessa, Bass Nectar, and Zed's Dead, while also hosting a slew of other DJs ranging all the way from Alice in Wonderland to T-Pain. Yes, you heard me right. You can find T-Pain at Forest turning up Best Love Song and all his other hits because he is now a DJ. If you have a sizable trust fund lying around and you maybe want to consider Coachella as an option, where you can find all the big acts from all the other festivals in essentially one place. Ariana Grande, Khalid, Bass Nectar, Childish Gambino, and Billie Eilish will all take the stage in the world's most Instagrammable desert. While this lineup is unmatched, you might have to sell your firstborn to afford it. So if it's the Instagrammability you're looking for, but at a more reasonable price, you can hit up the Coachella of the Midwest, Lollapalooza. Also featuring Ariana Grande, Childish Gambino, and Tame Impala, we're not bringing many new names to the table here. However, with daytime acts like Lil Wayne, JID, The Revivalists, and Her, Lolla is definitely staying in the competition for best lineup. At the end of the day, a lot of these festivals are supporting a lot of the same artists. So simply pick your fighter based off what's available to you and what's closest to you. I personally will be selling my soul to Lollapalooza in order to see Ariana Grande, Her, and Casey Musgraves in the same weekend. But that's all for now, y'all. Thanks for listening, and until next time, I'm Mackenzie Diggs.
Wow!
You know, I agree. Thanks for the rundown.
All right, this has to stop.
Wah!
No, stop. This has to end.
Oh, I see. Guess this is the last episode.
No, it's not what I meant, just the hat. No more Super Mario.
Oh, okay, well then we'll go to our final break and then our final words.
There's a thought.
Be careful.
I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
You guys did block the wheels, right?
Oh, that's what this is for.
Nice birdie.
Go, Cooper!
On it! Well, that didn't work. Nope.
At least we got dinner.
After 4 seasons were released, I was finally introduced to a very weird, funny, surprisingly great show, Schitt's Creek. The show is about an incredibly wealthy family that loses everything. When they're trying to figure out their next steps, they remember that they own a town called Schitt's Creek, which was of course purchased as a joke because what else do you spend all of your fortune on? The family goes from a luxury mansion in the city to a dirty, grimy motel in a small rural town. The family has a really hard time adjusting, and that is where the plot rests. The people who used to have everything trying to figure out how to live with next to nothing. The show is really funny, and it has a strong story about family, but I have to be completely honest. It took me a while to really get into it. The first couple episodes, I watched it and thought, sure, this is funny, but what else? It didn't feel like it would develop into anything else, and I began to wonder if I would leave this show behind, which is really rare for me. I did though, and after a few months, I began watching it again over the weekend. Needless to say, I was proven wrong. I watched almost 2 full seasons this weekend, and the show finally drew me in. The comedy never fades throughout the 4 seasons. The writers do a great job coming up with new, quirky adventures for them to go on, and they finally started adding more of an emotional element. There are love connections to root for and friendships that even the viewers cherish. It also provides a gentle reminder how much your neighbors are truly involved in your life. So, the show proved me wrong. I judged the show by the first couple of episodes, and that was wrong. I confess. The show quickly improved, and it quickly made its mark on me. I definitely recommend giving it a watch, and please, keep going after the first few episodes. Don't judge so quickly like I did. I feel like every great show has a rocky start, but when we are patient and wait for a transformation, we can see how great the show can really be.
You know, I want to preface this by saying that I love war films. I love documentaries. I love every bit of information there is to know about wars and the people who wage them. However, as I've grown and become more critical of films over my time in college, I've started to become infinitely more critical of war films themselves. And that's why when I sat down last night and watched The Hurt Locker, I was strangely disappointed. I loved it years ago. I thought the explosive ordnance disposal units were the coolest guys in the world, and they still are. However, The Hurt Locker doesn't really do them any justice. It's full of very, very unrealistic situations that place Will James and his squad in ridiculously dangerous situations, and 3 American soldiers during the Iraq War would not be going out alone to disarm bombs. They wouldn't just be able to run around all over the desert and blow stuff up without supervision. Now, there are not many good films about our most recent Middle Eastern war, and that's because they're incredibly hard to film. It's quite difficult to simulate the environment and the situations that these soldiers were placed in and still are today. The Hurt Locker has some pretty decent acting, and Jay Farrow is excellent the whole time. However, it's not supported well by the scenes they're placed in. It's got some really unnecessary shots in places you wouldn't expect. For example, there's a sniper scene about halfway through the film when Farrow disposes of the target, and then there's a 45-second long shot of the shell casing of the bullet hitting the gravel and just bouncing around. It's useless. War films reach their peak in simplicity. War is brutal, and it's not something that we need to draw out. And The Hurt Locker does just that. And the scenes are so tense for so long, they stop being tense. It's fairly predictable. There's plot twists. The film tries to develop, and they don't really hit due to a lack of development. And it's really a shame. But hindsight's always 20/20, I guess.
All right, well, that'll be our episode for the week. If you want more from The Real Deal, check out our Facebook, Twitter, and website for all things entertainment. I'm your host, Abby Perry.
And I'm Noah Bullard. We'll see you next time here on The Real Deal.